my thoughts on Atheism Plus are twofold. First of all, to my first point, it's that Atheism Plus itself is an understandable reaction, which is to say that Atheism Plus, as a separate community from the larger atheist community, as a social movement, I would say, is understandable. After reading the original Atheism Plus blog post as well as the FAQ, it's understandable that they would want to create a more congenial environment for themselves of like-minded individuals, I should say. If you hey, I like these people that are atheists, but I would like them more if they're also socially progressive like myself. Maybe if they like the same movies as me and enjoy the same foods, and maybe we could create a dating site called Atheism Plus Mingles or something like that. So it's understandable to want to be around people who are like you and people who you will like. But ultimately, the converse of that is that you limit your exposure to ideas that are not completely congruent with your own, and it's not very mind-opening. You are cut off from a part of the world and consigned to your own inward-looking ideologies. And that's part of my problem with my second point, which is about Richard Carrier's position, actually. His stated goal of kicking the chuds back into the sewers is, he's obviously, his is about the movement and less about creating a community. He wants to disenfranchise, obviously, the backwards Neanderthal portion of the larger atheist community, and consign them to a backwater that is, outside of the enlightened Atheism Plus community. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually agree with many of the stated ideologies, but the problem with it is this. By tacking on those ideologies to the atheist movement and calling it Atheism Plus, what happens when you naturally apply skepticism and empirical inquiry to your stated ideologies? When scientific facts start disagreeing with your stated ideologies, something's going to give, and it's either going to be the facts or the ideology. And that means you're going to spend more time policing your ideologies, re-examining them, your ideologies, restating them, reformulating them, and less time espousing your stated ideologies to the greater world. So it becomes, in effect, more of a masturbatory exercise within your community, and less about less of an outreach program to those who might be interested in in applying skeptical inquiry to the greater world. So ultimately, your movement becomes more inward-looking and less outward-looking, and that's the danger. It's not good for the community to look inward constantly. That's my fear, actually, of this video, is that only people who already agree with me are going to see this. I mean, only people who think Atheism Plus is a bad idea are going to watch this video. And the people who think it's a good idea are not going to watch it, and they're never going to get this point. This point is never going to be made to them. They're never going to get this. Because they're within their own community. They're already inward looking. They're already purging the ideologically impure. And now I'm ranting. How unhealthy is this? Anyway, that's my 2 cents.